Hi, my name is Uchechi Kalu, and I am a certified financial planner for women who want more freedom and clarity around their money. And today I want to talk about something that's just come up so much with clients, the five do's and don'ts, financial do's and don'ts for surviving a world that is on fire. And just last week, a client came to me and was like, what do I even do with my money when it seems like everything is falling apart? Like, how do I have a plan? What plan should I have? What plan shouldn't I have? Like, it feels like we're in these unprecedented times, is the phrase that they used. And I want to start by saying, I don't personally believe that we are in unprecedented times. I think that there's so much of American history, from slavery to the genocide of the indigenous people, to colonialism, to imperialism, that actually sets the precedent for what we're seeing and experiencing right now. Of course, it is extreme, and of course, like all of our nervous systems feel crazy. But I don't want you to feel that America is functioning any differently than America is meant to function. I think right now it's on absolute overdrive, and we're definitely in this phase of authoritarianism. So, with that in mind, knowing that at some level, from especially from an economic level, that America is functioning as it is meant to function, I'm going to give you five principles that you can stick with in a time like this to just kind of direct you. And the first one is to not cash out your investments. Here's the reason why. Number one, almost anytime you cash out your investments, if it's in a non-retirement account, you will have to pay a lot of taxes on that. If it is a non-retirement account, you very likely will have to pay taxes and an early withdrawal penalty depending on your age. So if you are worried about having enough cash on hand, I would ask you to focus on your emergency fund. Start by just doubling it, right? If you have 1 month, let's say 2 months. If you have 2 months, let's go for 4 months. If you have three, let's go for 6 months. I'd say like more than a year of an emergency fund is uh, usually more than what most people need. So if you have like a year of funds, great. Especially like if you're going to have to pick up and go, you're very likely going to pick up and go to some place that might not be as expensive as the life that you're currently living in the United States. So that's number one. Don't cash out your investments. Number two is to do make sure that your investment portfolio is diversified globally. So in 2025, the US stock market was one of the worst performing markets of developed countries. And I don't tell you that to freak you out. Actually, no country consistently overperforms the global market ever. But I know that there are a lot of people who feel like, why should I invest in other countries? America is the best, right? That sort of sentiment of American exceptionalism that we deal with in this nation, that is affecting this nation right now and affecting the world, of course, is something that we then take into our investment strategy a lot of time when we're not working with certified financial planners. And we think, well, American companies are the best. That is actually not true. There are companies all around the world. There are markets all around the world. So if you were singly invested in the US market last year, you would have missed out on major gains all around the globe. So you always want to make sure that your portfolio is globally diversified to take advantage of the gains across the planet. Number three, don't make investment decisions based on the latest political or social headline. And so here's the thing. The growth of the stock market overall is usually determined by overall economic conditions, investor sentiment, but also corporate earnings, right? Not just what Trump says, or like not, what him and his cronies are doing. Like, that's not truly affecting what we see as these sort of fluctuations, the true fluctuations of the market over long periods of time. And I also want to say that sometimes the fluctuations of the market are kind of mysterious. So if you remember COVID, I'm sure we're all still trying to forget that, but if you remember in COVID, the market crashed or had a huge drop. I'm not going to say it crashed, but had a huge drop around, I believe, March of 2020, March or April of 2020, right? And logically we think, well, that makes sense. COVID, it had a rampage across the globe. Like, millions of people died. So many people lost their jobs. Of course the market crashed. But you wouldn't believe that by the end of 2020, the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average had all-time highs. So sometimes The market tends to react in the opposite way of public sentiment, right? Of political sentiment, of social sentiment. So I don't want you to change your investment strategy simply because you heard something on the news, or simply because like we're having like our like sort of freak out of the day. I want you to stay invested for the long term. Number 4, I do want you to consider keeping some money in other currencies. One of the ways that you do this is actually through investing in the global market, because when you are investing in those countries, those and the value of the dollar goes down, which it did last year by like 9%. It actually went down about 9% compared to some other major currencies. So when the value of the dollar goes down, that means the value of other currencies goes up. And when you are invested in international stocks, then and you convert that back to USD, then you actually get more money. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So that's one thing. Another way to do it is if you are a traveler, you've probably used different kind of travel apps where you can convert USD to another currency and then use that currency on the ground. Usually these are different fintech companies. You could just look them up online and you'll find some. But they'll usually issue a card or something like that that you could use on the ground, if you ever needed to actually physically use that other currency. A lot of people have been asking me, like, how do I get euros? How do I get pounds? That would be one way to do it. Like, so just look up some of those travel apps to exchange currencies and also buy currencies. I will say though, this is not a foolproof strategy. Just like I mentioned, no one country rather, outperforms the market. No one currency outperforms the market. So you're always going to get fluctuations up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't want you to put your life savings in euros because you think that that's going to be better than the dollar. Okay. And then the last one, this is number 5. Don't remain a passive observer. Do what you can do. And that's going to be very, very unique to the communities that you're in. So if I'm talking to you and you're living in Minnesota right now, you can go out and protest with the rest of Minnesotans, right? I live in Los Angeles. There are ways to do ICE patrols where you go out where ICE is suspected, and at least you can videotape and make sure that if people are kidnapped by ICE, that at least their families can be notified, or that there's a record, right, of what's going on. If you have a lot of space and your family's very open, you might open your home to foster children whose parents have been kidnapped by ICE. You can still pressure your politicians. You can still join local organizations, and you can call out those family members who are being very passive, or family members who are accepting of this behavior, and tell them what it is. Tell them what it is. Don't be afraid of that. So I'm just telling you, it's not hopeless. There is action that you can take, and I think that you will feel better, and I definitely feel better when I take the actions that I can take. So those are the 5 do's and don'ts financially of surviving a world on fire. Number 1, don't just cash out on those investments. Taxes will come for you. They're keeping taxes in the authoritarian regime. Believe me that, okay? The second one, make sure that your investments include international stocks and bonds. 3, don't make investment decisions based on the headlines or based on whatever Trump is doing or saying. The fluctuations of the markets are actually based on something a little more complex. 4, consider other currencies if that is on your mind. And number 5, most importantly, don't be passive. Don't be idle. Do what you can do. Okay. Good luck, everyone.